with SaugaTalks today. Hello, Happy New Year, everyone. It's 2021 already. Oh, today we're gonna talk about trends. We're gonna talk about what to expect in 2021 from FinTech, InsurTech, tech in general. So artificial intelligence. We'll talk about interesting trends today with Spiros Margaris. Welcome.
Thank you very much for having me on your show.
Absolutely, pleasure is mine, because Spiros, you are venture capitalist, you're futurist, you are doing a lot of things in fintech and insurtech, you're advising companies, and that makes you perfect guest for today's topic. Can you please talk to us? Observations from 2020. What are interesting insights? Let's start with fintech first. That's going to carry us forward to 2021.
Of course, we're all kind of a little bit experts on COVID, on the pandemic, and the pandemic obviously is still carrying on to this year, 2021, and we will see. What we've seen already, a difficult year last year. I think we will see another difficult year this year, where we're going to see a lot of startups, companies to merge or go under, because the economy will suffer, I believe, and it will be harder for many companies, startups to raise capital, unless you're already quite established and have already a strong investor base. So I see the same as we saw last year, this year going on, at least for the first half of 2021.
So what do you say? Digital transformation 2030 came to us in 2020. Is it driven by company leadership? Is it driven by industry, or it's driven by COVID in some cases?
I think it's driven by COVID, but I think we've seen the big transformation we saw last year, digital transformation, the one that within a short period of time, we saw changes happening, adoption of technology, which would have taken much longer. But I think this scale is behind us. I don't think, what can a grandmother do than already do FaceTime or Zoom or whatever she hasn't done before? Or some things, we're already paying with all kinds of digital ways, from credit card to with your phone, etc. For people who haven't done it, this is like second nature. So I think we don't have to look at digital transformation now, this acceleration of digital transformation, but now that has been done now. I think don't expect this huge shrinking of time of adapting to new technologies. I think we've seen that last year, and this year is more a time of consolidation of the different issues that people have now and will have with COVID. I think some people have very different problems now than looking for the newest tech. I think
Absolutely,
the people are worried more about the economy, about being able to pay their rent, or other worries. They have health worries, a lot of other worries, and it's not about gadgets. It's not about having the newest tech. I think there are different priorities people will have.
And how industry is reacting to all the driving forces out there, for instance, right? Finance and fintech in general as a space. So what's the new shiny, interesting developments that you see? Let's say platform as a service. Is it something that's resonating with customers and companies alike?
I think, I don't even think that we're going to go that way, but maybe as well. But I think embedded finance, basically where you mix different industries, traditional industries with fintech, with the financial industry, that we're going to see much more. I'll give you an example. Like Tesla sells insurance for the people who buy their own cars, who buy Tesla cars. Walmart just announced now that they want to have a fintech product for their customers. So basically, what I've said for a while at least, that people who have customers will find a way, an easy way now, to provide those customers, besides of their core products, also financial products. And the fintechs will be then able to do so. It's like, yeah, it's very logical. Like Walmart has so many customers. There's so many Starbucks. And there are a lot of companies who have a lot of customers who already provide some kind of fintech solutions, but you will see there's much more. And that in itself will become like a platform, basically a one-stop experience, one-stop shop experience to, if for some reason difficult to find the right word. But this embedded finance, I think we will see more things and surprising things. And I think look at like TikTok. Mm-hmm. TikTok, very similar to what you see on YouTube, but it's different. So you will see maybe some things that look similar to what we think a fintech or financial company should provide, but also somebody will come with this TikTok fintech experience, which we're not talking about TikTok, just it is very similar, but it resonates much more with the consumer. Who was thinking that TikTok would be such a success in its space? And so all of a sudden something could come up in the fintech space, hopefully, that will all of a sudden revolutionize, not evolutionize it, revolution, because what we do now is evolution. We improve things that are already there, but it's not, we don't have many aha effects with, oh, wow, this is very different. But all of a sudden it might happen.
What about increasing in intelligent technologies? What about automation that scares people, but at the same time, all the conveniences it provides? What do you see?
I think I understand why it scares some people, because they feel like their existence, their way of being able to provide for their families might be interrupted through automation. And it is not only scary in factories, which people are already used to automation, or warehouses like Amazon has, but it also will have in the middle, not in the back office of many corporations and banks, where automation will disrupt the workplace. But then again, I was talking to somebody lately, it's like Excel. Excel enable people to do things faster, better, instead of writing it down and do all these calculations. That was kind of automation of some things that you did by hand, but it enabled you to do other things. So as long as we try to help people to adapt to this new situation that AI, machine learning, automation will have as an impact to society. As long as we do this, then we provide a better place for people to adapt to it. It's like, how to best say it? It's basically, we have to help people to train for the new future workplace, and also, if possible, to help AI, machine learning, to enhance their work instead of threatening their work.
Absolutely. We talk a lot about democratization of AI, and democratization meaning platforms available to larger and smaller companies out there, but also people being upskilled. So do you see employers taking care of their employees by providing those opportunities? Because again, right.
I don't want to be unfair. I think some do, some don't, obviously. I think the ones who do, I think we should congratulate them, because I think that's the way to go. It's like we should try as a company as much as we can to pull everyone on this journey we're going.
Absolutely, because
but it's not possible everywhere, and but it's a difficult issue. It's a difficult issue, but I think we have to applaud the companies who try to upskill their employees, to take them with in this new digital journey.
Absolutely, absolutely. So again, we're kind of talking about tech driving a lot of changes in the industry besides COVID, right? So
Yes.
could you please, walk us through? I mean, where do you see blockchain going here? Because frankly, it was huge hype a few years ago,
Very
right?
nice.
We thought
Yes.
blockchain is gonna solve everything for everyone, and then there are disillusionment. So where do you see this is?
I think something I state often, the only success story I see mainstream is crypto for blockchain so far. But I think eventually we will find mainstream solutions for blockchain. At this point, I haven't seen anything yet, but I think so many smart people working on so many interesting projects that eventually I assume something will come out of it. You know that. But you see, I mean, I could see blockchain used for verification of news. You know, so we really know that this minister or this politician or whatever this person said is true, verifying truth, and a lot of things, you know, or cutting. You know, we talk a lot about smart contracts now, more and more, DeFi. You know, this decentralized finance. Something will happen, and we will see benefits from blockchain, obviously. But like every technology, we have a hype, and the hype promises more than we can deliver, but doesn't mean we can't deliver it. Maybe we can't deliver it as fast as we think we can, but that's every hype. I think we should not take blockchain out as a bad thing. Blockchain is here to stay, but I think we will take step-by-step success stories to make it really a broad, useful tool. Because if we take blockchain like a tool, it's much better, like a toolbox, and blockchain is one tool. So blockchain is a solution for certain problems, but it's not a solution for every problem in the fintech space. And there are a lot of other technologies that do the same thing as blockchain does, and cheaper and already proven. But then again, I really believe that we will see eventually, beyond crypto, a mainstream success story or more. I mean, because as I said, there's so many companies, so many governments putting money behind the money and efforts behind blockchain technology. So we will see things that seem to work better than existing technologies.
For sure, for sure. So where this innovation gonna come from? I know you work with a lot of startups. So what's the opportunity there? How's we doing on funding? What is the new exciting shiny startups out there?
I still believe that funding, and especially also this year, will be focused mainly, not exceptional, and not in general, mainly on bigger players, on established players, where venture capitalists already have committed money to secure to protect their investments, and they will go for more sure bets. There's not a thing like a sure bet, but you know, I think money will be focused more on the bigger players. So you will see still money flowing because there's a lot of capital out there into FinTech, InsurTech, and a lot of other startups, AI startups. But I think it will be in fewer startups. That's my belief. You know, but money is out there. Money will be invested, but the love won't be spread widely. It's more focused love by those venture capitalists, by those pension funds, by those players that have the capital to deploy.
All right. So hopefully this is all for the benefits of consumers. Let's talk about consumer expectations because they're driving. We changed our behavior, right, around every industry. So can you please point out what are your observations? What are consumers, what are they about in 2021? Mm-hmm.
I think consumers, when there's competition, which we have from tech giants, from fintechs, from banks, will benefit from insurance, will InsurTechs insurance will benefit from the competition, because everyone wants a piece of their time, a piece of their business. So when there's huge competition, it's good. It's very good for consumers. The only thing is, if there's so much competition, it's sometimes very difficult for consumers to determine which innovation or which service solution, fintech solution, for instance, is most beneficial to them. But the options will be there, and that will put price pressure, which is good for consumers, so they will have to pay less. But I think they will benefit in general. The question is, in times we are in, is there enough money out there by consumers to spend on fintech solutions? You know what I mean? I mean, to do remittances, to send money to your relatives, yes, that money will go from one place to another, regardless of how much money you have, because they want to support their families. For things like challenger banks, I think it might be more difficult, because basically you don't have so much money. Do you need 3 bank accounts? Maybe 1 bank account is plenty if you don't have enough money, if at all. So I think some fintech players will have difficulties because there's not so much money out there to spend beyond what you have to spend, your rent and food, just the essential parts of living. I think that will be difficult for some players that depend on people who want to experiment, who want to have maybe a different bank account because they feel like it. It's like a fashion item. Maybe today you want this challenger bank, tomorrow you want this challenger bank. Now the priorities are very different. It's just, maybe it's just build one relationship with somebody, with some financial institution, in order to rely a little bit more if you need them in difficult situation, if you need credit or whatever. So I think this year will be a difficult year for challenger banks, in my view, unless you have a very unique proposition that saves money for the consumer, like for instance, TransferWise, when you want to send money, as I said, remittances, perfect. Or exchange fees, you want to avoid exchange fees, you will go to Revolut. So unless you have a very unique proposition that brings benefits to your needs, it will be a tougher year for many fintechs.
Understand. So let's turn to InsurTech. Let's talk about insurance in a way that, again, right? What are new trends? What do you think about telematic devices? I hear a lot about, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, telematics has been here for a while. Doesn't excite me as much because it's there. It will of course, gain in importance in markets where it hasn't been established yet. I mean, Italy telematics is very established, and in other places too. But I think that's not the game in InsurTech. I think InsurTech, of course, it's a little. InsurTech will play also a bigger role in these platforms. The challenger banks will partner with InsurTechs in order to provide the customers a broader service experience, from lending if they can, if they bank of obviously credit cards, savings, and then obviously they want to also provide them insurance products. There haven't been many good partnerships I can think of yet to make it worthwhile for everyone. So I think we'll see, but that we see that that those two players, FinTech and InsurTech, are put as part of FinTech, that those challenger banks, for instance, will partner with InsurTech companies. I see this trend accelerating. InsurTech still, I think we're still early stage. I think the insurance industry is obviously slower, and of course, we didn't have those interactions with insurances, as we know, because you bought the policy, and the only thing you got a notice if you have to pay you have to pay for your insurance policy, and if you called again, it means you had a claim, so I didn't like it. This changed, I mean, you have with car insurance, you pay by mile, everything still, I think things, we're still at the early stage what InsurTech can do for customers. We will see cheaper policies, we will see more customized policies, which only through AI machine learning is possible. And the consumer will win, you know. InsurTech, I believe it's a very exciting place to be. And I mean, I'm involved with wefox, which is a fantastic InsurTech company, which serves the B2B as well as the B2C with one insurance. And there are a lot of good players out there, good players. And it's too early to tell where the industry is going, but I think there's still a lot of room to grow.
Wonderful, wonderful. Yep. I'm reading some of the experts here, and how I found, if you agree, work from home is a trend for InsurTech. I'm sure it's trend for FinTech and across the board, but yeah, can you comment on work from home, on future of work in both industries, or what do we see happening there?
I think it will stay that way for a while, but I think we should not forget that meeting people in person is still magical, and you can discuss certain things being together differently than you can do over Zoom or whatever video conferencing tool you're using. It will be a part of it because you will save money. We're getting used to it, that people work from home. And you will find maybe some companies that embed some tools to really track if people really work from home. And I think people really miss exchanging ideas over coffee or just walking to your colleague and discussing things. I hope and I'm confident that in the second half of 2021 or first half of 2022, we will get to more normalized work environment where people will love to go to the office. Maybe it will be a mixture. I think we're not going to go back to being outside of the office. I think it will be a mixture. And but it's here to stay. Something that we all couldn't imagine before that it would happen. That companies will send you out of the office to work from home. But it's a reality now. And also that course on digital transformation, security-wise, cybersecurity topics. As I said before, the lazy people will become even lazier at home, and the ambitious and hardworking people will work at home the same way as they work at the office. But this interaction, live interaction, I think is missing, and this will come back. But I think companies also benefit from not having to pay the office spaces. So I think there's different economic benefits happening now through working from home, and not only economic but also a lifestyle benefit.
Absolutely, I'm a huge proponent for remote work, because I discovered it 20 years ago and never looked back. Okay, I loved going out and see people and attend events and just go to meetings just to see people, right? But at the same time, I'm a huge proponent of that flexibility and personal responsibility. So nobody have to watch you what you do as long as you are successful, you're productive. So that's my point of view. But of course, yeah.
I think it also fits with the lifestyle of many people,
Absolutely. So this is here to stay, and technology is evolving in front of us. So more and more, of course, features added. We can live stream now, so it doesn't have to be Zoom all the time. It can be any kind of forms and shapes. And look what's happening in the event industry now, right? If you're following SES, right? CES rather, right? So what's happening out there? Big stages coming to across the world, so you can be part of that global community now. So that's
it innovated a lot of things. It forced people to think new ways of doing business. And also, as you said, those conventions, they had to figure out a new way of still attracting people in some way.
Yep, I just saw some stats yesterday, this huge conference made 1.5 billion impressions in last day only. I
People
don't
were hungry.
Yeah.
People were hungry for news, people for information.
For excitement, right? And innovation. So don't you think it's going to be next renaissance coming after we're a little bit freer, after we kind of can breathe and be ourselves again?
I think people are going to go a lot of restaurants, bars, and just going out and travel. I think it's just, it will be, people are hungry for doing what we thought it's a normal life. And we didn't appreciate as much as we appreciate now that we're missing it.
Good, thank you, Spiros, so very much. So just at the end of our conversation, what about two, three takeaways for the audience? So we did talk about FinTech, we talked about technology innovation, InsurTech, AI a little bit, right? We did talk about automation. So what do you want to leave our audience with in 2021? Expectations, excitement, innovation out there?
I can't really, I think innovation happens because of need. And I think, as you said before, with conventions, they're finding new ways of attracting their old customers. I think we will find that innovations will happen. And regardless of the tough times, things will pass. I mean, humankind always had tough times. That's basically our tough time. And we didn't have wars for many of us, at least for most of us. So this is a difficult moment, but I think I'm optimistic. I think we have to stay optimistic for good reason, because things will pass and we will come out of this appreciative for many things that before we took for granted.
Beautifully said, Spiros. Thank you so very much. So
thank you for having me.
Yes, to all the ventures you're a part of, absolutely. So we are becoming more and more social media savvy, because this year educated us a lot, and now we have global reach and we have hopefully global influence on things we care about. So thank you so very much for this.